Hiya. Today I'm going to do a really simple makeup, a bit of a smoky eye. I'm going to use some matte shades. I've been using a lot of shimmer recently, so I thought I'd mix it up. I'm going to start with a little bit of the La Roche-Posay Tolerian Fluid. The Tolerian range from La Roche-Posay is really good if you're someone that finds that like you have that skin that reacts to so many things. This is a pretty fail-proof range for you if nothing seems to work or nothing seems to be gentle enough. The fluid I'm using is really nice and lightweight, so it gives you the hydration you need, but you can put your moisturiser or your base or whatever straight on top of it. So I'm going to go in with some CC cream next. I'm going for the illuminating version today just because my skin just feels a bit dull, you know, it's been wintry, and I'm just trying to capture a bit more of a glow. So I'm going to take this all over, and in particular make sure that I've created a nice level of coverage on any areas of redness. Now you'll actually see this, I think, the luminosity of it come up a little bit more because it's so dark outside. I've got a ring light in front of me, so I've got a little bit more light than just the natural window. And I do think with the illuminating CC in particular, you really see that extra glow when you get it under a ring light. Now, someone said to me the other day that whenever I use this, I never show how much I'm using. That's a really good point, and I've just done that again. This was one pump that I used today. With the CC cream, because it's really good at covering redness, I would say that depending on how red I am and how much coverage I need, the amount I use can drastically change. So if I'm feeling really red one day, I can go in with anywhere up to 2.5 pumps to get the coverage that I need. But like today, one pump was more than enough to do the whole thing, and I want it to look nice and luminous. Now, you'll also notice that it is luminous, but it really does bounce the light. So before I do anything else, I'm just going to go in with, on a nice small, this is a Peaches PC17, and that was a Real Techniques Expert face brush that I just used. Just going to go in with some translucent setting powder on the areas where it really seems to be bouncing off the light there, and just soften them a tiny bit. And you'll see actually on the forehead, it kind of helps to soften the appearance of any texture. If I've got powder all down me, this jumper is actually glittery, so in fairness, you're not going to be able to tell. I'm just going to gently seal a bit of powder actually across those lids. To seal in everything around there. I just swiped my CC cream over the lids as well to make a bit of a base. Okay, so today I'm going back in for another play with Jamie Genevieve's palette. She's got a number of shimmers and mattes and things. I'm going to go for these kind of shimmery matte colours and go for something quite smoky today. So I'm going to start with the Aimee Connolly, the blender brush. So I know I've mentioned Aimee's things a few times, but if you're not familiar with her, she's an Irish makeup artist. She's got her own makeup line gone into Boots. It's brilliant. And this brush is fantastic, her blender brush. It's really, really great. I think it's really nice actually. Like Jamie's makeup that I'm using now is brilliant. And there's something really, really powerful when working makeup artists make products, because they just understand what people are going to want and need. Like Jamie, for example, there was a Zoom last week where she kind of talked through the new collection and what the inspirations were and things like that. And she was saying, from having been a working makeup artist in Glasgow, she really wanted a palette with enormous eyeshadow pans because there are certain colours you'd use so quickly. I remember from working at Peaches, I used to get Carbon from MAC, the jet black, and you'd be out of your Carbon after 2 minutes because there's certain colours that you just tend to use in everyone's makeup. And basically those palettes are absolutely huge, and it's all those kind of learns that you would only get if you knew from a makeup artist perspective what you really needed in your kit. Do you know what I mean? So just getting a nice smoky brown all over. I'm not being too neat and tidy with this because A, it's too early in the morning, who can be bothered? And B, I think it looks a bit nicer if you're not terribly neat. I'm going in with this one now. This is Lava Rock. On a slightly smaller brush. This, I was going to tell you what it was, but it's absolutely years old, a Real Techniques one. And the name appears to have rubbed off. But I'm just going to pat this colour all over the lid. Now I'm kind of tilting to the side and stretching my eye, just so that I can really dig that colour into the corners. Where my eyes kind of naturally crease, you almost have to wrestle it in a little bit more. So first of all, I'm just packing the colour on. I'll blend it out in a moment. But for now, I'm not too worried that it's not neat and tidy, because I am going to blend it. And I'm going to take this up to the natural crease. But then when I buff it out, I'll probably go a bit bigger than that again. There we go. Now, while I'm here actually, I'm going to take a small pencil brush and go underneath my eyes with that same colour. I think I'm going to go really smoky today because why not? Going right the way under. And I've picked to use kind of like a maroon coloured liner. So I want this to be a smoky look with a lot of warmth to it. And that warmth can really just make the eyes pop. Whatever colour eyes you have. Now you can see that's a real mess, that's absolutely fine. Before I go any further, I'm just going to get this liner on. This is the Peaches War Paint eyeliner. Again, running theme here. Another brand where makeup artists have made the products that like they wanted in their kit. And I'm actually just going to take a smaller hand mirror and get that right up into that upper lash line also. How am I doing for time? 8 minutes, not too bad. Now I'm having a look at Jamie's palette, and there's actually like a matte kind of red called Cozy. Let me show you. Let's go in with a bit of Cozy, why not? So, another clean blending brush. This is the MAC 224. Now, to be honest with you, you can just pat the brush clean on the back of your hand. I'm happening to use clean brushes because I have them to hand. The only reason I've got so many brushes is because I've been working as a makeup artist for years. I've gathered them up, but you don't need that many at home. You know, a few good brushes will do a great job for you. I've got a video in my IGTVs, if you look back a little bit further. I think I did it at the end of August. The holding image is just a set of brushes, and it's a video all about which brushes I recommend from lots of different brands, different price points, shapes of brushes that I recommend. You know, you might already have a brush set and you just want to know which brush does which job. It's going to be really handy for things like that. Now, see, this actually looks lovely when I'm looking in my mirror, but because of the natural light, that's why I never use a ring light. I know it looks absolutely crazy on here, but if you could trust me on this one, I'm really happy with it in person. So I'm going to take the brush that I used for the mid brown and just soften some of these edges. Now there's a bit of, you know, what would be the word, ambiguity, I would say, around these outer corners. And what I'm also going to do now, let me get a bit more red in this outer corner. I'm going to show you how putting a bit more highlighter on can just blur out a whole, you know, realm of sins. So I'm going to take, you guessed it, another clean little shadow brush. This is Jamie's Golden Highlighter. I'm going to take it on a little blender. Pat it on the back of my hand first. This, when you first pick it up, looks quite glittery, but actually when you put it on, you get this really buttery highlight from it, but it does look really sparkly at first, but then when it hits the skin, it just gives you a lovely, quite polished glow. I've got a bit of that in my eyebrows. I've kind of taken it through that crease, but it just softens all of these harsh lines. And I'm going to go back in again and just make sure that I've buffed the matte colour right the way, soft out into nothing on those shadows. Okay, I've got 4 minutes left, so I'm going to pick up the pace a little bit. I'm going to use some of the Trish McAvoy Brow Perfector in Natural. This is that kind of waxy stick I showed you the other day. Really lovely. I think it's so great. But this one is tinted with a slight touch of brown. And the kind of finish you get from this is a really sculpted, almost like the soap brows. It's like a firm, waxy texture in a pencil. And you get this lovely brushed finish. I'm going to actually just take a clean spoolie and really brush that through, and it just gives a bit of shape and polish to your natural brow. This comes in a clear as well, and it comes in a number of different shades, but I really love, especially when you've done a slightly stronger eyeshadow, just going for a nice soft brow. And this is definitely one of the more unique brow products I've tried that does this. And like, for example, I think soap brows is absolutely fantastic. If you haven't seen soap brows, I mean, it does what it says on the tin. It's literally putting soap through your brows. But this particular brand has set it up really well to make it easy for you, and you spray your little spoolie, rub it in a tin of soap and put it through your eyebrows, and it really brushes them up and it looks lovely. And I really do rate that, don't get me wrong. But like this morning when I've got a Zoom about 3 minutes after I get off this call and I want to get my whole face on, it's not quite the most practical idea for when you're in a rush. So the likes of that Trish pencil gives you that finish, but you can literally just throw it on and go. Right, 2 minutes left. I'm going in with some bronzing powder. I'm going to do a bit of a nude lip today, I think. And this is a really soft, fluffy brush. So I'm getting a really soft finish from the bronzer. To be honest, in hindsight, knowing how bronze I want to be and how little time I have, I would have gone for a denser brush. But this is the one I've put, so never mind. No. Gonna go over this with a little touch of Jamie's. This is Bijou, the Nova Glow highlighter, the one I've just used on my brows. Again, I'm picking this up and I'm just going to work it into the high points of the cheeks. Really gentle touch so that I don't buff off any of the coverage that I've just worked hard to build on my cheeks. And then I've got 1 minute left to draw on a whole new lip shape, and I intend to use it. Going in with some Pillow Talk. Now, I've already got lip balm on, so it might not look as bold as it would have looked if I didn't already have that on. And then I actually like it just with the balm. I've got a nice dense gloss here, so I'm going to go in with MAC Toasty Inside. Okay, well there we go, nice warm smokies. I'm going to go and do my Zooms and I will talk to you soon. Oh God, I've got no mascara on. I'm going to put my mascara on. Have a nice day.